From the heights of the Europa League to mid-table mediocrity. Being hyped as one of the best run clubs in Europe to just indifference. What on earth has happened to Brighton and Hove Albion? Obviously, the come-up started in 2017. We got promoted to the Premier League from the Championship under Chris Hughton, finishing second place, and the priority in this moment is going to be for us to stay up. And to be fair, in many ways, I miss when we were really bad. We had players like Duffy and Dunk, that partnership that they had together. Glenn Murray, Jose Izquierdo. Of course, this was the emergence of a certain Pascal Gross as well. The proper Stevens partnership. Take me back. So we stayed up for 2 consecutive seasons under Chris Hughton, and we really do owe a lot to him, because really he started this rise. He got us into the Premier League and started the journey. But if we mention Chris Hughton, we might as well mention Gus Poyet. He came in League One, got us promoted to the Championship, got us playing an attractive style of football, playing out from the back in League One in 2011. Game's gone. But anyway, we sacked Hughton. We needed to push on. If we wanted to have any ambition, then it was the right move. So in comes Graham Poster from Swansea with the idea that we're going to play some attractive football, some attacking football as well. And this started a bit of a change of identity at Brighton as a football club. Players were brought in such as Mopé, Trossard as well. Dan Burn was integrated. All players who have got good moves themselves. And of course, it's worth mentioning at the start of 2019, we signed a certain Alexis McAllister. But again, 1920 was just about staying up, was trying to build an attacking brand of football. And again, in lockdown, very much the same. But you could always tell under Potter we were moving forward and there was something there. And this was proved by all the XG in lockdown. I think we were like second or third, maybe top 4 for XG. Like some of the chances we were missing in lockdown and some of the stats and the numbers we had to back this up. Honestly, I don't know how I coped. And then as well in the January transfer window in 2021, we bought in Moises Caicedo from Independiente del Valle. And this season as well, McAllister was really integrated. And at times that season, honestly, it was just painful. As I said, the amount of chances we missed and the amount of games we should have won. I never want to see that again. So that season ended and there was just a good feeling around the club really going into the next season. Started 21-22 really well. There was Shane Duffy coming back and scoring on his home debut or home debut, beating Burnley, beating Watford, and then beating Leicester in September as well. And we didn't win another game until December. We had a mini resurgence from then until February, lost 5 or 6 games in a row after thinking we were competing for Europe. But I think we only lost 1 game in the run up to the end of the season, beating teams like Arsenal away, Spurs away, and bearing in mind these were 2 UCL chasing clubs. Life felt good. We had a fairly good transfer window in summer. We did lose Cucurella, but we replaced him with a Stupinian. I don't care. I will always say that's an upgrade. Levi Colwill coming in from Chelsea on loan. Please come home. 22-23 started just perfect. Beating United away on the opening day of the season, and of course this was Ten Hag's first game. It was going well when we were top 4. We'd start the season really well under Potter, and then he goes to Chelsea. This was the beginning of this Chelsea-Brighton Bloomco thing. I don't know what this is. It's weird, but it has a big effect on our club, because honestly there is something seriously fishy behind the scenes. We thought we were down and out. We thought, look, we're going to have to rebuild. The whole project is ruined. In comes Roberto De Zerbi and he raised the level of the whole club. Took us to levels we didn't know were possible. Made average players some of the best in the league. I mean, you look at Solly March from January to February 2023. Genuinely one of, if not the best winger in the league at that time. He stopped Kaoru Matoma playing wing back. Yes, Potter had him at wing back. And once again, raised the levels of someone like Moises Caicedo and Alexis McAllister, who were our starting sort of double pivot under Potter. But he took even these players to heights they never dreamed of and took them to the players that they are today. And of course, there's Pascal Gross and Adam Lallana, 2 players who he's publicly outed as 2 of the smartest players he's ever worked with. Fast forward to the end of the season, he's got us 6th place. 6th place in the Premier League. Wow. I still can't believe this was us, and look at us today. We were going away to title-chasing Arsenal and beating them 3-0 in their own ground, with talents such as Evan Ferguson, Julio Enciso as well. Denis Undav, oh my word. I mean, De Zerbi just brought the whole club together. He got the fans really emotionally invested in what he was trying to do. The players loved him as well. You could visibly see it with Alexis McAllister crying against Aston Villa on the final day of that season because he knew he was off. Whereas Moises Caicedo, he didn't care. He was straight off down the tunnel. Missed training to force a late-ish in the window move to Chelsea, of course, which saw them pay a British transfer record of 115 million. Bearing in mind, we paid 4 million for him and now replaced him with Carlos Baleba. Carlos Baleba's doing what he is today. I mean, he's had a very underwhelming season, but I think he's coming back into form, and he's still got some very, very good attributes as well. And he was being talked about in the same price as Moises Caicedo as well last summer when Man United wanted him. I got rushed through this now, I'm just waffling. But we had a strong-ish first half of the season, and we topped our group, our European group, of course, which had the likes of Marseille, Ajax, and AEK Athens, who, as we found out on the opening game, were a strong, physically strong side. However, we did go to Athens away, and we beat them, and I was there. I did, in fact, get tear-gassed. But after that, the second half of the season was just a complete downfall. When we lost to Roma, we knew that was season done. There were so many injuries, such as Purvis, such as Evan Ferguson as well. But come the end of the season, there are plans to back De Zerbi massively in the summer. However, the day before the Man United game, probably one of the most detrimental days in this club's recent history. De Zerbi had basically been pushed out the club. I think we look back at that now and realise, or they should do, the higher-ups at the club should look back at this and realise what a detrimental mistake this was. But I think we did this in such an arrogant way because we were expecting another top manager to come in. Arne Slot was our first choice. And then, of course, he ended up at Liverpool and did what he did at Liverpool. McKenna was a big target too, and I mean, we were going to get him. Everything was lined up for him to become Brighton manager. And then the last minute, of course, in came Chelsea. Of course they did. Ipswich chucked a load of money and he stayed. There was also Farioli mentioned, but he was apparently too similar to Roberto De Zerbi. So we ended up with our fifth choice, and wasn't really Fabian Hertz's job. He just won the league with St. Pauli, going up to the Bundesliga from Bundesliga 2, and he'd only had 18 months experience in a manager role in the professional game. And also, what's a huge determining factor in whoever we get as manager is if they're a yes man and they just agree to every decision the club makes. And Hertz was backed massively. In that summer, we spent over 200 million bringing in the likes of Kadioglu, Gruder, Rutter, O'Reilly, and Mats Wiefer as well. We had a mixed first season. Hertz had a mixed season. There were some standout results, but there was also some horrible results. Just, I don't even need to mention what result. And we had some really good runs of form that season as well. A standout player such as Carlos Baleba, he was, just awesome. And we finished 8th, which would have been a European place if it wasn't for Palace winning the FA Cup. But we spent more over the summer with Babis Kostoulas, with Stefanos Simas, who was brought in January 2025, coming back from loan. Maxim de Kuyper, Olivier Buscaglia as well. Diego Coppola, I think there's some players such as Simas and Babis there who do have big ceilings. Of course, Simas had to go and get an ACL injury, which again has been a constant issue under Hertzler. But that brings us to the present day. Here we are in 13th. What happened? I think maybe we have been a victim of our own success, of our own standards almost. Because at the end of the day, we are Brighton and Hove Albion, and we have no right, as the size of club we are, we have no right to be competing at the very, very, very highest level. But at the same time, De Zerbi took us to those levels. He showed us what was possible. And once we have a taste of success, you want more, ultimately. And I think with Fabian Hertzler, is he a good coach? Absolutely. I think he's a great coach. But he's a good manager. No, he's very naive, I think. There's a lot of little things he gets wrong. There's game state management, there's subs, there's man management as well, and ultimately improving players. But at the same time, it wasn't his job to take. We had about probably 3, 4, 5 other managers we wanted to get the job instead of him. But I do also think this season we've been unbelievably unlucky in some of these games, especially the last 3. Like, you look here, the Brighton-Everton game the other day, we should have won. We had a good amount of chances, and we were stiffed over by VAR twice. Same at Fulham, stiffed over by VAR, had a stupid amount of chances, played really, really well, and lost the game. Same at Bournemouth, given away a penalty, which wasn't a penalty. I mean, did we play particularly well that game? Not at all. We were very, very bad and rescued by a moment of brilliance by Babis Kostoulas. City, again, another one we should have won, because Diego Gomez can't stick a ball in the net from 5 yards out. West Ham was really, really poor. Arsenal, we arguably could have got a point, but I think so many games in this run here in particular, we just should have had more. Does the league table do us justice? I think you can go either way. I do think we have been unlucky in some games, and I do feel bad for Fabian Hertzler, because some of these games have been lost because of individual errors, because of VAR as well. But the defining game is quite literally next Sunday against Crystal Palace, and if you look at them down in 15th, This is a relegation battle. If Fabian Hertzler really is the man to take us forward, and if the club believe that, we need to act soon anyway, because he's only got a year left on his deal after the season finishes. So either we need to get rid of him, of course, or extend his contract. And at the time of recording, 2nd of February, this is currently transfer deadline day, there is absolutely no movement, and I'm very bored. We're not addressing the big issues here. Maybe I'll do another video on Fabian Hertzler and Brighton, but it's not good. We have fallen off a lot. Maybe this keeps going, I don't know, but let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe, share. Thank you.